What's up, everybody? It's Justin Davis, and this, of course, is a principal's perspective, and I aim to be a principal to the people as always. Let's get started by me saying, school is in session. Let's get to this lesson. So, a little bit out of the norm today. I'm sitting in my office, as you can see. I got stuck here. Man, today was a crazy day in the life of a principal, but some days are like that. You don't get to pick and choose as a principal. You know, I set out to have a planned day from every day to get started and say, I'm going to do this and do this and do this. And then the school day happens, and sometimes I get to do absolutely none of what I thought that I was going to get to do. But today's lesson is centered around the idea of looking at things through a different lens. And the idea of today's lesson is failure is actually most of the times a good thing, because that's when you learn the most about yourself and the most about a situation. So I've encountered failure a lot in my life, believe it or not. But the things that I failed at give me an opportunity to learn from. And sometimes the failure that happens in my life as it relates to school actually has put me in a place to even be more successful later. And I want to tell you a story. And the story goes back to when I actually had finished college. I had finished the coursework for college as a school teacher. I was 21. No, I just turned 22, as a matter of fact. And I was done with the coursework. I had completed my student teaching, and I had just finishing up the semester and just did a subbing, had done some subbing. And so if you know anything about teaching from state to state, there's a test that you have to take. And that test, as a high school teacher, was social studies based. And it was like 150 multiple choice questions, and you have to know all this information. And I was a pretty good student, but believe it or not, I had never failed a test ever in life. I couldn't remember one time failing a test. So after I completed my coursework, I thought it was going to be easy just to go in there and pass the test because I had done everything the right way. So I went in to take the test, and the very first time I failed the test, and I failed it by 1 point. 1 point is all I failed it by. But of course, I'm a man of perseverance. It didn't bother me. I said, oh, no big deal. I only failed it by 1 point. I'll take it again. And I took it again maybe a couple of months later, and again, failed it by 1 point. So, didn't get frustrated. The reason I didn't get frustrated, though, is because I had an alternative plan while I was taking the test. I knew I wanted to work with kids, so I started working in a residential treatment center where with boys that had been taken from their homes because their parents had issues or their family life was just in turmoil, so they needed some support, and they sent them to our residential treatment center. And I actually, at a very, very young age, had an opportunity to work with young boys that were coming from very, very challenged backgrounds. And at the time, I didn't realize it, but that's what helped me become the best, the person that I am today, not just as a teacher, but as a leader of schools. So I took that test, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 7 times before I passed it. I was making good money as a young person, so it wasn't like I had a sense of urgency to pass it, because as a residential treatment technician, I was actually making pretty good money. So at the age of 23, it wasn't a sense of urgency, but still, I still should have passed the test. I failed that test by 1 or 2 points every single time until I took it, until I passed it the 7th time. But what's crazy is that when I passed it, I had gotten right spiritually with myself, and I had some type of relationship with a higher being. Had I passed that test before, there's no telling what type of teacher I would be. Because as a young person, I made a lot of mistakes after college, in college and after college. And the person that I am today, actually, I wasn't right inside of college or right after college. So had I passed that test and been before young people teaching every single day during those 2.5 years, I don't know that I would have made the best decisions. I don't know that I would have been the best teacher. I don't know that my mindset about how important education is to young people, that I would have the same mindset. So that thing that at the time that I saw as failure actually was God putting me in a position to make sure that I acquired the information the skill set and the compassion for young people that I needed in order for him to grow me into the principal that I am today. So I don't know who I'm talking to, but I need you to understand that sometimes failure is more than just you actually failing for the moment. A lot of times that failure is putting you in a position to make sure that you acquire everything that you need to acquire and to make sure that you've matured into the person that you need to become before God can give you that blessing. So I don't know who this message is for, but I know that all of us will encounter failure at some point in time. Maybe you've encountered it right now, but just know and understand that if all else fails, that you have what it takes in order to accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish. And failure is just a part of the process. Doesn't mean that you are going to fail all the time. Doesn't mean that when you fail that you are a failure. Just means that you need to acquire certain information, certain knowledge, certain skill set. And sometimes things just need to be placed on hold so that you can grow into the person that you need to grow and to become. So I'm going to stop right there and just say I appreciate all the support. Thank you all for tuning in. Every time I get on here, I'm so excited just to share the information that I have for you all. And at any point, you all can start emailing, responding. Let me not say emailing, but responding. And if you have questions, concerns, or comments, I'm more than happy. And I would love to start having a dialogue and conversation back with you all. So after you see the video, if you have a comment, please comment. If you have a question, please ask. Anything that I can do to help or support, that's what I'm here for. So I want to end it as always by saying you have a phenomenal rest of the week. And most importantly, you have a phenomenal rest of your school week. Love you. See you next week. This is episode 14. I'll catch you later.